Our airline flight from the States took us over a panoramic vista of the Austrian Alps before touching down in Skopje, North Macedonia, where our journey was to begin. The view from the hotel breakfast room the next morning was uninspiring and gave no indication of what sights were to come. One of our first visits was to a museum dedicated to the Saint Mother Teresa, who in 1979 received the Nobel Peace Prize for her work serving the poorest of the poor. She was canonized by the Catholic Church in 2016. King Philip II ruled Macedon in the 4th century BC, but is perhaps best known as the father of Alexander the Great, who was one of the world's greatest military generals. It was an easy drive to the nearby city of Tetovo, where we paid a visit to an ancient mosque known as the Painted Mosque. A look inside revealed the bright floral paintings, which required over 30,000 eggs needed for the paint and glaze used in the elaborate decorations. From the ruins of a hilltop fortress, we got a bird's eye view of Skopje, the capital and largest city in North Macedonia. The next morning, we drove west of central Skopje to Matka Canyon, the site of the oldest artificial lake in the country. It is a popular destination, and we took a short boat ride in order to get a view of Vrelo Cave, listed as one of the world's top 77 natural sites. It is also believed to be one of the deepest caves in the world. We then drove to Kosovo, and it was here we learned about the Kosovo conflict of 1998-99 between Serbia and Albania, which ended only when NATO intervened. This badly damaged house is the site where 59 Hashari family members, men, women, children, died after 3 days of fighting. A memorial near the house was built to honor their memory. In a square in Pristina, there is a bronze statue honoring the protester who in August 1990 defied a brutal attack by Serbian police on demonstrators protesting their rights. Close by is the Haranet Memorial, dedicated to the women who were raped during the Kosovo War. The 3D image is made up of 20,000 pins, each representing a woman victimized during that conflict. We then took an elevator to the top of the tower of the Mother Teresa Cathedral for a bird's eye view of the city of Pristina. To give us an additional perspective of the Kosovo War, we listened to a personal account from someone who joined the Kosovo Liberation Army to fight in the conflict. His tale was one of hardship and sacrifice. The next morning we were greeted by a blanketing of snow as we prepared to leave to meet the rest of our tour group who did not take the 6-day pre-trip. On the way, we stopped briefly in the town of Prizren, one of the oldest human settlements in Kosovo. We left the snow behind and arrived in Tirana, Albania. This statue of General Skanderberg pays homage to the man who freed the lands that later became Albania from the rule of the Ottoman Empire in the 15th century. Next up was a visit to the House of Leaves Museum, which at the end of World War II became an interrogation center that used torture and coercive tactics against Albania's citizens from 1944 until 1991. Many artifacts from that time remain, including this coat, which had a secret recording device. Enver Hoxha, the communist dictator who ruled Albania for almost 50 years until his death in 1985, was paranoid about the possibility of nuclear war and had thousands of underground bunkers built across the country. The most elaborate of these is the Bunkart Bunker, which is now a museum. It has 5 underground floors, 106 rooms, and could hold 1,000 people. Tirana is home to the world headquarters of the Bektashi Order, a Muslim sect established in the 16th century. Unlike other branches of the Muslim religion, the Bektashi are a mystic form of Islam and are more liberal in their beliefs. For example, they allow members to drink alcohol and eat pork. We then drove to the city of Berat, a UNESCO World Heritage Site regarded as one of Albania's most beautiful cities. It's easy to see why. The promenade outside our hotel led to two bridges which were spectacularly lit up at night. The next day we visited Berat Castle, which overlooks the town. From here we were able to capture some picturesque panoramas of the surrounding area. We also paused at a shop to watch a lace maker at work, crafting beautiful patterns with her sewing machine. We left Berat the next morning with a stop in Gjirokastër, another World Heritage Site. A sunny day afforded us an impressive view of the surrounding area. Overlooking the town is the Gjirokastër Fortress. We spent time wandering the charming streets before walking over to see the Skanduli House, an Ottoman-era building that provides visitors with a glimpse into the lifestyle of the people who lived there at the time. We left in the afternoon to this stunning landscape. Our destination, the Arethusa 50-passenger ship where we would reside for the next week. Here we could relax just like at home. Our first day of sightseeing was a short journey by coach to the ruins at Butrint, another World Heritage Site. The ruins here represent the Greek, Roman, Byzantine, and Venetian influences over the ages. Our second sunrise aboard ship on the Greek island of Corfu was one to remember, a fitting start to the day. That day began with a visit to Achillean Palace, the 19th century villa of the Empress of Austria. Although the palace itself was closed due to restoration, we were able to prowl the grounds and surrounding gardens. The palace was named after Achilles of Greek mythology, and a statue of Achilles in the gardens was a given. Our next port was Preveza, and it was here we spent half a day visiting a local family, the parents and two daughters, and sharing a home-cooked meal. That meant helping with the food preparation. And we happily joined the celebration of one daughter's birthday. One member of our party used the opportunity to indulge in a favorite pastime, sketching. Appropriately, the party ended with a lively dance exhibition. Next on the agenda was a visit to Olympia, Greece, where the ancient Olympic Games were held from the 8th century BC until the 4th century AD. The ruins of over 760 buildings cover this archaeological site. The stadium could hold 50,000 people, but alas, no one sees the chance to sprint down the track, a real shame. Can you guess from the photo what we did next? Correctamundo, a visit to a bee farm. There are over 20,000 species of bees in the world. The bees at this farm were docile and no bee stings were reported by our group. Our visit concluded with, what else? A sampling of several types of honey. A highlight of the entire trip was the visit to Delphi, which in the 6th century BC was considered to be the navel of the world. It was a religious center and a symbol of unity for the ancient Greeks. The crown jewel of the Delphi Museum is the bronze statue called the Charioteer. It is one of the most important sculptures of ancient Greece to have survived, dating to about 470 BC. The reason it survived was that it was buried in the earthquake of 373 BC and not unearthed until 1896. The stadium at Delphi is located at the uppermost part of the ruins. Olive oil comprises an important part of the Grecian diet, and we got to witness the various stages of production: washing and removing leaves, crushing, and extracting the oil. The final step for us was to sample the several types of olive oil produced at this plant. And now some shipboard entertainment. Even our tour guides, Nikki and Amaryllis, joined in. A tradition at the farewell dinner on the ship, the Baked Alaska Parade. To finish out the trip, we spent several days in Athens, the capital of Greece. The changing of the guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier was a spectacle not to be missed. Finally, one of the features of the trip most eagerly anticipated, a visit to the Acropolis of Athens. It sits high on a hill overlooking the city. The Parthenon and other temples were built during the 5th century BC, which was the golden age of Athens. From here we had a dramatic view of the city of Athens. Before we leave, let's recall a few more of our memories.